spots over here as well. So we clear out all the gaps by matching the yellow arrows with the voiceover. So we come towards the end and we finish up with all the empty gaps that are left. And so we finally closed up the last gap at the end. And so we could use the button on the bottom right hand of the screen to see the entire montage. And so if we begin listening to the montage by hitting the space button from the beginning, we will hear that the instrumental is very high. I'll show you how to decrease the instrumental. When we right click on the line in the middle of the instrumental, you select duck according to other track. In doing so, the volume of the instrumental will be decreased where our voiceover begins. We will be doing so by selecting OK on the window that pops up. Now you see on the screen that the instrumental's volume is decreased where our voiceover begins. Using the button on the bottom right hand side, we could see that the instrumental's volume increases where the voiceover ends. If you like, we can listen to how it works. So we could left click on wherever we'd like to begin listening to by hitting the space button.
Koşuyorum üstüne. Bakın yükseldi. Tekrar düşecek. Düştü. Seni seviyorum diyordun.
And you see here that it's automatically increasing the volume of the instrumental in all the empty areas. And thus we conclude our montage. We see here that our voiceover ends at 540, where the instrumental finishes at 610. In order to shorten the instrumental, you go to the end and you click on it when you see the yellow arrows and you drag it as far back as you like. And if we grab the small square and pull it back and slide it back as far back as we can, then the instrumental music will slowly die out.
Kısıldı. Bakın, bitti.
So this is what you should do if the instrumental music is a little too long. In the case where the instrumental music is too short, then if we right click and select reset all, it'll reset all the changes we made to the instrumental music.
Gecelerimin kahkaha dolu.
So in the case where the instrumental music is too short and our voice over continues, in this case there's two things we could do. We could come to the beginning of our instrumental music and select and copy from that part that we like. Then we could use the scroll on the bottom and come back to the end of the instrumental music. Right click on the music and select paste and select add mix. So if we paste and slightly pull back, then the instrumental music will mix with one another.
İşte dinleyelim şöyle. Rüzgarları. Bakın oradan devam edecektir. Gecelerimin kahkaha dolu. Bak.
And if the instrumental music is still too short, you can always click on the end of the instrumental music and use the yellow arrows to slide it forward. And if we want to listen to how it worked out, we can just listen to it just by hitting the space key. Once again, you can drag the small box at the end of the instrumental music, allowing the music to slowly die out, letting the listener know that the
Şöyle bakın.
montage is finished. So now, once again, we have to decrease the instrumental music where the voiceover continues, and I'll show you how you can automatically do that. You could do this by right-clicking in the middle of the instrumental music and selecting Duck according to other track. So you click OK to the window that pops up. There's a little detail here that we manually have to adjust. We see here that the instrumental's volume didn't decrease where the voiceover starts. If we go to the line in the middle of the instrumental music and double click, then we see the little boxes pop up. Then we make another box on the line in the middle of the instrumental music. So when you hold and grab the second small box, you can adjust the volume of the instrumental, dropping it so that it doesn't so you can adjust the instrumental music according to the voiceover. In the final portion of the instrumental, if we go to the line in the middle of the instrumental and we grab it and pull it down, through that action we would decrease the volume of the instrumental. And so that's how we adjust the instrumental according to the voiceover manually. And finally, I'd like to show you how we can add the effects to our montage page. By clicking on presets, we select the effects that we chose before. And now we can listen to the montage with the effects applied to it. So you could tell by adding the effects that it perfected the voiceover.
Gözlerimde patlarken isyanlar.
So there's a major difference in between when you're using the effects and when they're not in place. So now we can show you how to save the montage with the effects added to it. First we click Render, then we select Create Specific File. If it's a Wave PCM, then we click on the arrow and select MP3. Then we click on the yellow file and we go to the desktop. Then we select the file that we did the montage on. And finally, we open the file and save it by giving it a name. And for the grand finale, we select OK. Then a window will pop up and we'll see how the montage is progressing. Through this action, our montage page with the effects is saved to the file with an MP3 format. And so you can add your poem and your voiceover to turkishpoet.com. In conclusion, you are to save this project the way that you see it here. And we are to save this montage window as a project. This is very important because in order for you to make any adjustments on the project, you need to save it before you do anything else. You can save the project by clicking on the save button on the far left, on the top left corner, right beneath the view button. Once we select the save button, we save the project underneath the file that we had prepared for it originally, and naming it or titling it as the project. So if you open the file, you'll see that it's saved underneath the name project. The last thing I'm going to do is close the windows that are open in Wavelab, one by one. If you fail to close the windows, each time you open Wavelab, they will pop up along with everything else. So I close my tabs, closing my montage page, my montage window, and the instrumental and my voiceover windows, and you see on the bottom left that there's no longer any more screens. While you're closing the tabs, if the computer asks you to save any of the tabs, you should click no. And so this is a file that I prepared to save on my desktop for a poem. It's very important that you save each poem in a separate file. So you should open a new file for a new montage that you're going to save. If we take a look at the file that we saved our montage in, so this is the final form of the MP3 that we're going to listen to. So this is the instrumental and this is the project, and if you click on the project, you'll see that it opens up. So if you'd like to make adjustments to your project, you select presets and you adjust your effects and you click render. And so you could join and mix the effects and the voiceover and music. So that concludes our montage. I hope that you can make and benefit from these videos.